the Tea Party faction, and they certainly don't understand what went wrong, but their solution is just to cut government spending. Of course, most of these people are on Social Security and welfare, but they want to cut big government, as long as it's not the part that affects them. But on the other side, they don't know what went wrong either, but they're at least smart enough to know that if the government doesn't spend this money, we're collapsing into a depression. So it seems almost impossible in the near term, politically, to drastically increase the taxes. Anyone who increases the taxes right away, they're going to be kicked out of office. So instead, the most likely outcome is the government will keep borrowing money. This year, it will have a $1.6 trillion budget deficit. They will borrow that money from the public. During the last 15 years, the U.S. has had two big economic bubbles, the stock market bubble and the property bubble. People made a lot of money during those bubbles. So there is a lot of bubble money out there that is available for the government to borrow. As long as they can borrow that money without having to create a lot of paper money, then we will have relative stability. But if they run out of this pool of bubble money to borrow from, in other words, the money that already exists, as long as they borrow the money that exists already, then they won't have to print trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. But when they get to the point where they can no longer borrow the money that already exists because they've already borrowed it all, or the public becomes afraid to lend the government money, then they will have to start printing money on such a large. They've already begun, as I showed you the chart. The Fed has created 1.5 trillion paper dollars since this crisis began, but it's kind of stabilized over the last year. As long as they don't print and take their balance sheet from where it is now, the Fed has roughly 2.3 trillion paper dollars it's created. As long as that doesn't jump to 3 trillion, 4 trillion, 5, 6, 7, 8 trillion over the next couple of years, then they will be able to manage the economy in the short term. That's the optimistic short-term scenario. Now, so 5 years